Okay, so here we are again. Another review of today's activities. Day 4, I'm really feeling it. It might be because I took a whole bunch of extra responsibilities at my workplaces. Yeah, they're just short of people. I'm just getting lots of requests to come in and fill up some slots, work with some, people. Yeah, so could be that. It could be, I don't think the workload so far isn't that bad. I got most of the reading done, so I can just finish that up. Yeah, again, recording after work as always, so not that late in the evening, but it's been a whole day of being on the screen, conferences and whatnot. Yeah, but I think we'll get through. It's not too bad so far. So again, this is only the first week. We'll see. Probably just a workload. My workload from my jobs in the coming weeks, because I think it's gonna get a bit more crazy. First weekend is coming up after tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to. So what do we do today? Let's see. On the 13th, we went. Couple of ideas. Kind of kept on working on a little bit of, I guess, the usual. We had the line acknowledgement in the morning, followed by our group community building exercise, and today was my turn to kind of lead that. So we played Quiplash 2. It was overall pretty good. I think if people know what was coming, obviously they'd be more prepared. But I mean, that wasn't really much of a qualm either. It just maybe I could have set aside more time for the prompts to be answered. It was a fun time. I think it's a really good way for me to test the tool itself, Quiplash 2 that is, with the various settings. Probably curate my own questions, or even just like set the penalty filter. But there are obviously dangers with this, like since it is an open-ended kind of system, you kind of people can just kind of put in whatever they want, and I guess there's no way to really police or regulate it. But again, is there a need to? I don't know. I think there is something that you need to strike the balance between kind of letting people kind of do what they want, but also trying to make it safe. That is a challenge. So I'm not quite sure how to kind of work with that yet. But again, we'll see in coming times when I probably will try to use it again in some other capacity. And then we went back to exploring the curriculums. Yeah, there was some pretty cool stuff that I discovered. Some new curriculum for I think what was it? Science 11 for Citizens. I thought that was an interesting course. I think I'd probably be curious into doing that one. That sounds kind of fun. And then we went into kind of coming up with questions, and that was actually very insightful today. It was a bit of a shorter class today, but no less informative. So the thing I got was a really good question posed by the first group was about incorporating indigenous practices in subjects such as math or science. And is it just performative or gratuitous at that point? Well, I mean, and then Robert came up with a really good answer, and at first I kind of struggled to see what he was saying, but it started to make sense as he went along. And as opposed to incorporating indigenous practices themselves for the sake of, it'd be way too contrived almost at times, and performative. Instead, he kind of focused on a decolonizing way, and that made a lot of sense to me. It's kind of to approach the subject as if, so the best quote I wrote here was that, when you're teaching a mathematic or a science kind of related theory, you say this is a thing, but it's not the thing. So it's not to treat the kind of the Western and the European kind of teachings as the epitome or the best kind of way of going about things. It's just a way, right? It's a side or a method, a view, a lens, right? Not the dominating. Well, I mean, we're trying to move away from that, right? That narrative that it is a dominant lens, and that it is just another lens, that the way that we have come up, and this is the way that things are kind of used, but it's not the only way. So that's kind of what I kind of tried to incorporate in my work. Yeah, kind of going through a lot of things, a couple more powerful quotes, relationship before curriculum, that's what Nikki said. So before we can even get to kind of planning out curriculum, we have to understand evaluation, and that's in coming weeks. So that's going to be something else. Yeah, I have nothing else to say to that regard, but other than that, it was pretty interesting as to the whole how to incorporate indigenous practices into some of the more, I guess, I don't want to say traditional principles, but yeah, I mean, it is a challenge that I've been facing. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure how I would go about it, but again, that's kind of what the work is for, I guess. Okay, so that's it for today. We're ending it at about 5 minutes. Longer one today. All right.